Hi everyone, today we'll have a look at the question words who and what in Slovene. Who is kdo? The K and the D together are pronounced as a G, kdo. And what is kaj? Now we can reply to the question word kdo with a noun, so words like študent, študentka, or podjetje, which mean male student, female student, and company. Or we can reply to kdo with a pronoun, so words that replace nouns, such as on and ona, or he and she. Or we can reply to kdo with a proper name, such as the male given name Gregor, or the female given name Sara. Now, similarly, we can reply to the question word kaj with a noun, for example, sok, kava, and pivo, or juice, coffee, and beer. Or a pronoun in a certain case, for example, ga and jo, which mean him and her in case number 4, of course. Okay, so what's the point we're trying to make here? Well, the point is that regardless of whether we're talking about adjectives, nouns, pronouns, or names, we're talking about a group of words that share three fundamental and important characteristics. We can call these words noun-like words, and we'll refer to the three characteristics as the big three. They are gender, number, and case. Gender means that such words are either masculine, feminine, or neuter, represented by the colors blue, purple, and green. Number means that such words are either singular, dual, or plural. All words on screen are in the singular, by the way, so it's one juice, one coffee, and one beer. And case means that they come in 6 different forms depending on the function they have in a sentence. All words on screen are in their basic form, or case number 1, except for ga and jo, which are in case number 4, of course. Now, why are we explaining all of this if we're just trying to learn to say who and what? Well, because just like there are different forms of nouns and noun-like words, there are also different forms of question words. In other words, it's not just kdo and kaj. Again, to repeat, the 3 fundamental characteristics shared by noun-like words are gender, number, and case. In the example of mačka or cat, it's feminine, singular, and first case, or the nominative. Now, for the purposes of today's lesson, we can forget about gender and number. While nouns have all 3 characteristics, only case is important for question words. That means that there are 6 different versions of kdo and 6 different versions of kaj, regardless of whether the answer to that question will be, say, a feminine noun in the singular, or a neuter noun in the plural, or any of the other combinations of gender and number. Again, it's just case that matters with the question words. The different forms of the question words point ahead of time to the case the answer will have to be in. It's basically much like the English word whom, only more complicated, as there are 6 versions of who and 6 versions of what. Before we have a look at them, let's refresh our memories as to the basic functions of the cases. So when or why we'd want to use a particular case at all. The nominative is used to mark the subject of the sentence, that is, the person or thing doing the verb or doing something. It's the basic dictionary form of a noun. The second most important case is arguably case number 4, or the accusative, as it's used to mark the object of the sentence, that is, the person or thing having something done to them. It's also used to describe motion towards something or direction. Now, if this object is negated, or in other words, if the verb is negated, if what the subject does to the object is negated, the object has to take second case in Slovene. The genitive or second case is also used for of phrases, for example, when saying the history of Slovenia or something similar. The dative is used with the indirect object, or in less technical terms, the recipient of something. The person that gives is the subject, the person that receives is the indirect object, and the thing that is given is the direct object. So in our example, I is in first case, Natasha third, and flower is in fourth case. The locative, as opposed to the second function of the accusative, is used with static location. It's also used with the preposition about. And finally, the instrumental is used with the preposition with, so when saying with someone or something. Now, if we wanted to form questions to the English sentences on the left-hand side of the screen, we could always use who. Of course, there's also whom, but it's not used much, if at all, in modern spoken English. However, in Slovene, each case has its own version of kdo or who. Kdo, koga, komu, koga, kom, kom. So cases 2 and 4 are the same, and 5 and 6 are the same as well. Let's have a look at example sentences for both kdo and kaj in all 6 forms. Nataša je študentka, kdo je študent? Ne poznam Nataše, koga ne poznam? Rožo dam Nataši, komu dam rožo? Poznam Natašo, koga poznam? Zabava je pri Nataši, pri kom je zabava? Grem z Natašo, s kom grem? Hiša je draga, kaj je drago? Ne kupim hiše, česa ne kupim? Smejim se hiši, čemu se smejim? Kupim hišo, kaj kupim? Govorim o hiši, o čem govorim? Zadovoljen sem s hišo, s čim sem zadovoljen? So, whenever you're trying to learn any of the different forms of nouns, adjectives, or pronouns, be sure to include the question words as well. I find that people tend to neglect them and not pay them nearly as much attention as to the adjectives, nouns, pronouns, and so on. You at least want to have some idea of what's going on when you come across a word like česa in a text, for example, in order to make sense of the sentence and figure out what's going on. If you'd like to learn Slovene online, or if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to contact me at abcslovene@gmail.com. Until next time, good luck, study hard, and aim for the stars.